The In the Den podcast with SIMBA and Spokast is produced locally and independently by Spokast. Intro music provided by Logan, Daniel, MacDonald. What is up, Alexis? Brennan here, and welcome to the very first episode of In the Den, a podcast collaboration between SIMBA and myself, Spokast. We created this show to spotlight the incredible people, businesses, and organizations that make up the SIMBA network. And through this podcast, we're going to hear the real stories from the entrepreneurs and leaders across Spokane and Eastern Washington, the people who are building something meaningful and shaping our local economy in real time. And for this kickoff episode, I sat down with Robin and Alexis from SIMBA to talk about what SIMBA is, how it supports local businesses, and why this podcast matters. So if you've ever wondered what SIMBA stands for, both literally and in spirit, this is where it all begins. So let's get into it. Welcome to In the Den with SIMBA and Spokast. Peace. Welcome, everyone, to the very first SIMBA podcast. I guess we'll start with the host. We're all kind of hosting this podcast. I'll be a mainstay. I'll be here kind of helping produce and organize the show. But please, and I'm Brennan Pointer. I guess I should start there too. Yeah. This is on the Spokast channel as well, but so some people know who I am. But if you are listening for the first time, I'm Brennan Pointer. I run Spokast, a podcasting studio here in Spokane, Washington. And I'm lucky enough to help SIMBA start their own podcast. It's been a dream of mine to help a business organization like SIMBA to help feature their members. And I've kind of pitched this to a couple of other places and no one's really taken me up on it. And I'm very, very excited because I think this could be a great opportunity to really feature some really unique businesses and people in Spokane. But before we get into what this podcast is all about, I'd like you both to introduce yourself. Robin, why don't you start?
Yeah, I'm Robin Haynes. I'm the executive director at SIMBA. It means I wear every hat. I've been in the role since December of 2023, and I've been at SIMBA for almost 2 years and kind of do every facet of the organization and oversee everything that we're doing. And some of my favorite things, though, are spending time with members, which I know we'll talk about more.
Mm-hmm. What would you say is your what are you the best at?
What am I the best at? In terms of supporting businesses, I'm the best at compliance work and grant writing. I come from a compliance background. And so when people meet with me, it's always the boring topics and I feel really bad, but I always tell people I'm really good at the business of running your business. So I don't know how to run a podcast. I don't know how to run video or set up the lighting or any of those things. Mm-hmm. But I can help you with your licensing and your state taxes and all of your certifications and all those kinds of things that get people in trouble or stress people out. And I can make them really easy.
Like if someone hasn't filed their L&I for their employees in a couple of months,
allegedly,
you can help with that.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Yes. And I can tell you how to do it and why you need to do it.
It's a safe space. No reporting.
Yeah, that's right. I think the other thing we do really well at SIMBA is we approach folks without judgment and we meet them where they are. We don't think there are stupid questions. We don't think there are problems that are embarrassing. It's hard to run a business. It's hard to run a business by yourself. You don't have someone to bounce ideas off of. So we want to be that safe space for any question you have.
Awesome. I can't wait to get more into that because I have a lot of questions from there, but we're gonna get to that later. Alexis, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Alexis McLaughlin. I've been at SIMBA for almost a year and a half, and I am the Business Services and Communication Associate. So I like to just say I'm like a certified yapper. So this is great for me, like having a microphone. But yeah, so I basically do all of like the communications for SIMBA. So all of those emails and newsletters you get are from me probably.
Okay.
Social media, website, and then when I'm not doing that, I'm helping small businesses with theirs. So their marketing, social media, web design, all that fun stuff. And so yeah, I get to help. I like to say I do the fun part. I do a little bit of the compliance part. Like I know how to do business licensing, LLCs, all that, and I'm learning more every day. But my niche is marketing and communications. That's where I really focus.
When you say you help people out, do you help them out at any point that they need help at, or do you like from this like giving them advice, or do you help run social media accounts?
I really just help. I sit down, we kind of figure out what they're looking at. Some of it's just like technical stuff, like they don't know how to redirect their domain. I just did that yesterday.
Yeah.
But then there's sometimes where it's more big picture, content calendars, stuff like that. And then sometimes I just feel like a therapist sometimes where I just listen and I'm like, you're doing great. Like everything you're doing is great. You're doing everything you need to be. Your business is amazing. And that's probably like a small portion of it. It's just giving good positive reinforcement.
What would you say, like from both of you, like what is the most rewarding part of working at SIMBA and helping the businesses that are a part of SIMBA?
I think for me, the most rewarding part is when people feel empowered to do something. So for example, one of the things that I will do with small businesses is help you file your state of Washington B&O and sales tax filings, which can be really challenging. And I always joke about it, but like the first time you do it, it asks you things like, are you doing logging? Is there a salmon fishery? Like all these wild questions that if you're just doing a podcast in the Sprague Union District, I think that's where we're physically located currly.
Oh, okay.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
So.
Like in Spokane, the Sprague Union District
absolutely.
is where
Sprague
at.
Union
We
District
just
in
outed your
Spokane.
location.
Yeah. That's
Sorry.
It's public information. 808 East Sprague if you want to find me.
Come say hi. So one of the things I do is that. And when I help someone with that and give them the tools to do it, I'm always excited when someone calls me the next quarter or the next month and they have to file and say, I did it all by myself. And thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I didn't need to do it, or I just need that, that reinforcement. And so it's so nice to give people the tools they need to do it themselves, because especially finances are so overwhelming for people, and business taxes are confusing, and sales tax doesn't always make sense. And so giving people the tools and letting them know it's not that hard and that they can do it no matter what they're doing in their business, knowing that I cannot then do what their business is. So I think that's really exciting for me.
That's cool.
Yeah, I would agree. Just showing like small businesses that they can do it and they don't have to have all this expertise, and there's so many resources, there's so many tools, and they don't have to pay a ton of money too. A lot of that they can do on their own. Just getting like if they want to have a website, and a lot of them don't think that they can make a website. And I'm like, well, there's a lot of tools that you can make a website on your own if you don't want to just start off spending a bunch of money to get a whole web design.
Right.
You can do a lot of like stuff on your own and then kind of grow from there. But yeah, just showing them that they can do it. And then also just like, this is so cheesy, but just helping people do their dream, like achieve their dreams. Like I can't make a candle or I can't sing and perform, but I can help you showcase that and like bring it to the public and market that. Yeah. And like spread it. And so I like that aspect. So yeah, just, helping people live their dreams.
No, that's really cool. Like, and the whole point of this podcast is to really showcase what SIMBA can do for small businesses. And as we move forward after this episode, we'll be bringing on other business owners and highlighting them and how SIMBA has helped them and success stories and just more information about them as a business.
Yes. Because
I would say as like a small business owner, it's breaking through the noise of like social media and just like getting people to know who you are. Like I feel like I've done a good job with that, but at the same time, like there's still probably 90% of Spokane doesn't know about Spokast. Probably more than that. I mean, and so that's the point. And I'm excited to kind of just get to know more about what SIMBA can do and just learn about it. Just because I've known about SIMBA since about 2019. Is that when it started?
2018.
2018.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talk a little bit about that. When did SIMBA start, and what is the mission statement and the core values and all the jargon?
So this feels like a test. SIMBA started in 2018 in March with a group of founders and board members. Mariah McKay was the founder. She was the long-term executive director. Joel from the Grain Shed was involved. Mark Pond, who is the Startup Spokane director and business librarian, the downtown library, was involved. The folks at Measurement, which is a certified B corporation, were involved. And a few other folks said, how do we create an association of small businesses that's values aligned, that is interested in supporting local well before all of the current Amazon and Target boycotts. Like, I like to tell people we've been supporting anti-Amazon way before it was cool. So it feels very hipster to say that. But and we started growing from there, and then SIMBA really shifted during the pandemic because everything changed for everything, right? Small businesses were forced to shut down. The way we did business was different. The way we even talked, like, we're all sitting closer than 6 feet from each other at this point. So none of that would have happened. And so SIMBA really pivoted to keeping businesses alive. And then as we came out of the pandemic, I came in as operations director and then got promoted into executive director pretty quickly. And we took time to reinvestigate, reinvigorate ourselves.
Refocus?
Refocus is probably better on what we need to do now, because we are past keeping people alive. We want people to thrive and get folks focused locally. And so we actually redid our mission statement and our vision and values. So I do have my phone right here to look at it.
It's new. We don't have it memorized.
But we don't have it memorized yet. And I am going to be quizzing some folks in a future. I'll make all the members go.
Oh, yeah. Make them all memorize it.
That's a pledge of allegiance.
Like a pledge. That's right. So our mission is to empower and enrich entrepreneurs, micro and small businesses, and local consumers through education, community engagement, and advocacy in Spokane and Eastern Washington. And so that's a lot of words.
Yeah.
And really our focus is helping independent and locally owned businesses thrive. And Spokane and Eastern Washington, we're present in 13 Eastern Washington counties right now.
Oh, wow.
With members, with businesses we serve. We were just in Ephrata last night doing our first ever training in Grant County.
Oh, nice.
Tiny town. And so we are thrilled to be able to support those folks, because obviously it's easy to shop at Amazon. It's easy to order from Target and have it delivered to your house. It's harder to go down to your favorite coffee shop that doesn't have a drive-through and is not a Starbucks and support them. And so what do we do to get consumers ready to support that? And how do we get businesses thriving in a space where competition is rampant? In particular, the advocacy piece is something we're really working on. So I don't know if you've noticed, but things have been wild in the last couple of months with legislation changing all the time. State and federal, regardless of what your viewpoints are. And so giving people the information they need. Giving people scripts and tools to talk about, how are tariffs going to impact my business? How do I reach out to a legislator about that? Who do I even talk to about that? One of the things we do is help with things like credit card processing fees. There's some predatory practices by Visa and MasterCard towards small businesses. And so how do we fight against that? How do we give you the tools to fight against that? Because power is usually defined as money or people, and the small businesses don't have the kind of money to fight like an Amazon or a Meta does, but they have people. And they have the support of people. So we also want to give them the tools to do that.
Yeah. So it's like you're a little bit of, you can be a part of a business in like all these different ways that like you wouldn't be able to have support if you were doing it by yourself.
100%.
Like, and it is, I just like, when I think about running my business, I think about like, like filing taxes or doing, like, I just don't even really think about it that much. And it is something that I forget about, and then I do it last minute, and it's stressful. And it kind of seems like you can kind of, being a part of somebody, you can kind of look for help for that.
That's right.
Yeah. Like, because Amazon doesn't need that help. Because
Amazon doesn't need that help. And that's why our focus is local and independent, because the McDonald's might be locally owned. It probably is. But no one needs to convince you to go to McDonald's. Right. Right? And I'm not knocking McDonald's. Like, get your chicken nuggets, get your spicy Sprite. But you don't need encouragement to go there. You know what you're getting. And if you're opening a franchise, you get all the tools given to you.
Yeah.
If you are starting a podcast in Spokane, or you are opening a coffee shop, or you're doing a resale clothing space, you're probably by yourself. You might not even have any employees to worry about that L&I filing, which is great. how do you go about doing that? Who do you call if there's a problem? What do you do? So we want to be that solution for you.
Yeah. I'm already like thinking like I need to call you more. What I don't know if we touch on it. SIMBA stands for Spokane International. No.
House of pancakes.
What it's Independent Spokane Independent Metro Business Alliance.
Yes, perfect. That's spot on.
Yeah.
That's why we say SIMBA.
Yeah.
Because I cannot say that every time I'm telling people where I work.
It's catchy because it is the lion from The Lion King. And I wonder if when they were making this name, if they thought about that, or if they like, do you know why? Do you know?
So I don't know exactly where it came from, but I do know that the theme of the lion was in the back of their mind, because one of the things that I did when I came in as executive director, I found some old newsletters, and the newsletter used to be called Roar. And then they stopped calling it Roar, and I was like, I'm bringing that back.
Yeah.
So every newsletter has a lion logo at the top, and it's called Roar. And we make a lot of, I think probably my first 6 or 7 newsletters, ZD, I had a cat pun or 7 in my executive director letter.
She's the queen of puns. And then if you give her cats, like it's all the time. Yeah.
Are you
Perfect.
Ooh, this is a great segue. We should get into the we're gonna play a little game. This is a game that we're gonna play with all of our guests on the show, and you're gonna be our first guest, and you are our first guest. And you're going to play this game instead of like being the one that's giving it to the
Forcing
guest.
the game.
I'm not saying this right.
Proctoring the game.
But cats or dogs?
Cats.
100%.
Are you cat owners?
Yes.
You both? Oh, okay.
Yes.
Well, we're in June, and I think this episode will be coming out in June, and that means the biggest 3-on-3 basketball tournament will be happening in Spokane at the end of the month. My question is, are you a player or a spectator at Hoop Fest?
I have played in the past. I got my nose broken once.
Oh, wow.
Took a little elbow to the face. So haven't done that in a hot second. And I feel like the crowds are insane. And I'm not as young as I used to be. So I don't come, but I do love NBA basketball, and I've been trying to teach Alexis about it.
Yeah. I'm recently into basketball just because Timothy Chalamet, though.
Why Timothy? What's his connection with basketball?
He's just been at all the Knicks.
Oh, he's at all the Knicks games,
and so therefore I've been learning a lot about the Knicks. Anyway, but yeah,
that's funny. I like Timothy Chalamet. I didn't know he was a Knicks fan.
Can we just start a podcast about Timothy Chalamet?
It probably exists, but but there should be another one.
Yeah.
I'll give you my rates after the show.
He could be a SIMBA member.
There we go. But for me, I've gone twice.
Oh,
and
okay.
I've lived here my whole life. One time I got puked on by a little girl. I was just walking and she just puked on me out of nowhere. And then the second time I was trying to walk to the mall and go watch a movie, and I walked through a game and they yelled at me. So I don't go to Hoop Fest.
Okay.
I just really wanted to tell
everyone.
everyone.
The consensus I get from people is that the people I talk to a lot is like they don't go, but they love that it's here because it really does help our economy. And I will say, like, I'm sponsoring a team at Hoop Fest this year in the elite bracket, and I feel like there's a good chance that they might go far. So go watch the Spokast team. Hopefully they'll play on center court at some
Who's
time.
on your team?
I'm not playing. I my brother plays, and he actually like got a friend who comes every year from Ohio to come play. He's from Spokane, from Cheney. But then he got 2 of his friends in Ohio to come to Spokane to play in it. Since it is summer, would you rather a lazy float down the Spokane River, or you rather just pack up, a bag and go to a lake like Coeur d'Alene?
This person, I'm not an outdoorsy person. I don't know. I will probably be going and seeing a movie at the Magic Lantern.
Oh, that's a great. That should be more like outdoors or more like in downtown. That's what it should be like. ChatGPT did a really bad job.
Are you an indoor cat or an outdoor cat?
Yeah. Indoor.
Hey, sure. I came up with that one myself.
I've actually never floated the river, and I didn't know that was such a big deal until recently. Everyone talks about it, and I've lived here my whole life. I think it's because my mom doesn't know how to swim, so she just instilled that fear onto me.
So happy.
So I just like, people go down the river? What? That sounds crazy.
I would rather do something in the middle of that and paddleboard.
Oh, yeah.
And I've definitely done like the little Spokane on a paddleboard, but my friends joke that I never get to pick the paddleboard route because I pick things that end up being treacherous. So, you know, when you're in like Newport crossing over the river to go into Idaho?
Yeah.
Well, I was stupid one year and thought if we went up first, that would be going downstream or upstream, and then we'd come downstream. But that's not how the river flows there.
No.
So we went out literally 5 miles.
Oh my gosh.
And I thought we were going to die on the way back. And so I'm not allowed to pick routes anymore with the paddleboards.
Oh, so you went upstream. Oh man.
On the way back.
On the way back, yeah.
Uh-huh.
That would be tough.
And it was super chill when we
thanks.
started, and then it was not super chill.
No more chill. Yeah, zero chill.
Well, that's it for this and that. That's the start of it. It will get better, and I'll be more
I like that.
prepared.
Yeah.
We already went through the origin story of SIMBA, kind of,
Yeah.
but I kind of want to know, like, what makes SIMBA different from different other business orgs?
Yeah, that is a good question. So first of all, we're a C3.
Okay.
So
What does that mean? Because I actually
question.
I say yes, and I'm like, what is a
Yes,
C3?
great.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So there are different kinds of nonprofits. C3 has to have an educational, charitable, religious fourth purpose that I'm blanking on.
Okay.
So we are primarily educational.
Mm.
And so our focus is educating small businesses, but we do have members, including you,
Yeah.
our sponsoring member. So if you look for the Spokast logo, it's all of our SIMBA's website and our marketing materials and other spaces. But our focus is educational, and we really care not just about networking. There are a lot of networking business groups.
Mm.
We do have that component, and we think that's super important. But our role is to really support businesses with what they need, because networking with your friends isn't going to help if you don't know how to file that L&I filing,
Right.
right? And your business gets a fine and you get shut down. Or you don't have a trusted person to call if you're trying to figure out those B&O taxes, or you can't redirect your domain to your new website. So people are going to 2 websites and can't figure out what to do with you. And so creating that space, it's different. The other part is our focus is truly local economies and the unique flavor and variety in Eastern Washington. So we use inclusive really broadly.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, inclusive means that we support people from different walks of life, different identities, ethnicities, different locations, but also a business in Spokane looks very different than a business in Colfax, than a business in Ephrata. And so we try to celebrate the uniqueness of Eastern Washington, because the Palouse is not like Spokane.
Right. Yeah.
And Northeast Washington, kind of, you know, Colville, Chewelah, not like Spokane either. So trying to celebrate the differences and showing that small businesses are a lot more like each other than not. The other thing we celebrate is, well, the other thing I think that makes us different, not necessarily celebrate, is pretty low cost membership compared to others.
Okay.
And we aren't supporting things that are damaging small businesses. There are other business orgs who are really excited about bringing in an Amazon facility into our community. And sure, that brings jobs, but that's not helping any of our local businesses. So our focus is really supporting entrepreneurs, the entrepreneur spirit, and the smallest businesses in our community.
I see. Yeah.
And really just like the people who are literally, they just have an idea and they want to kind of talk about it and say like, hey, I have this idea for a business. I don't even have a business license. I don't even have an LLC. So really starting out, like they are just getting it ready. And I think one thing that we do that I love is we help people who maybe they are not from United States and they don't speak English, and that's not their first language. And sometimes it's easier for them to start a business versus getting a job where it's hard to communicate and everything. So so helping them navigate that. We always have translators. If someone needs it, we can get translated materials. So just making sure everyone has access to starting a business and building like generational wealth is really important. And I think that's something that stands out. And just also just making sure everyone's being seen. So all different like BIPOC community, the LGBTQ plus IA community, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, rural areas, rural businesses. So just making sure everyone is kind of getting a seat at the table and making sure that they're able to live their dreams.
Mhm. That's awesome. I really I think that is so important because it struck me I was watching as well. I was watching Welcome to Wrexham, and they were doing a feature on this local business that they had been displaced from Ukraine,
Yeah.
or they were refugees from Ukraine, and when they lived in Ukraine, they had a coffee business, and so they got a lot of support from the community to open up a coffee shop, and I see that a lot in Spokane, that there's a lot of immigrant-owned businesses, and I was just thinking about. I was actually thinking when I was watching that, I was like, who is helping them? And
Right.
yeah, and that would be so hard to do if you don't know the language or you're new to the country. To not have that support would be, to me, it seems it would be insurmountable. So
Well, and I think people who are just from the United States,
Yeah.
they don't even know where to start.
Right.
And then you add that whole other layer of just not knowing how everything operates, and it's a totally different system. I work with a lot of people who they've come over and they used to be lawyers or cosmetology, estheticians and stuff. And then their degrees and licenses don't translate, and then they're starting again from the very bottom, and so they're trying to recreate that, and it's just different. And I think just assisting them where to go, because we have so many different agencies that it's okay, I'm gonna go to the Department of Revenue, okay, check one, okay, I need to go to the Department of Licensing, check two,
Secretary of State,
L&I and stuff. So there's just so many different agencies and different places you have to go to start a business, and just making sure you're in compliance.
yeah,
That it's so confusing. And then add a whole other layer of just navigating a whole new country and living in a new country and being around new people and not speaking English fully or partially and stuff. So I think that is where we come into play, and we can be really helpful.
yeah. I feel like this. You might have mentioned this, but does SIMBA do anything in regards to advocacy?
Yes.
And did we already talk about this?
We touched on it kind of briefly, some of the
Yeah.
work we do. And so, we always want to support things that are supporting businesses.
Okay.
And sometimes we sign on letters on behalf of our org and the folks we represent.
Mhm.
I mentioned one about the predatory credit card processing fees.
Oh, right.
But also we give people tools. So I've been connecting people. Senator Cantwell is trying to collect stories statewide, particularly from Eastern Washington. She's hosting an event coming up, and as soon as I get the date, we'll share it, to tell stories about how tariffs are impacting your business, and the tariffs have been on one day and off another day. So it's also just creating chaos for people. And what do you do? So, for example, Kazuri is a SIMBA member, and Jillian Joseph, the owner, it's our favorite little gift shop. She has incredible things in there, but she gets fair trade products from around the world. So one product might have a tariff one day, and then it doesn't have a tariff the next day. And something that was very inexpensive is now going to be wildly expensive. And can she stock it? And can she support these artisans? And how do you navigate that? So giving folks like that the connections and tools they didn't have is really important.
That's where the advocacy comes in, as
Absolutely.
it's business related.
Yeah.
That makes total sense.
My other favorite piece of advocacy is I love to deep dive into council minutes and agendas and to county commissioner readings, particularly budgets.
Yeah.
Because they're dense, and I love that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I let people know, hey, business owner, it looks like the county's allocating $600,000 for economic development, but $80 million for a correctional facility. Maybe reach out to your commissioner about where you want your money to go.
Yeah.
And giving them line items and notes.
That's awesome. That is helpful. I went recently when they announced the new budget for the city, I went through it and I was what are they spending money on? I was looking at it and I was just the one thing that stuck out to me is there's only 2 people that are hired to run the meters in Spokane. And I was oh, that's why I don't get as many tickets as I should.
Have you noticed that? I haven't been getting, well, I shouldn't say this.
I'm just, I know this has nothing.
SIMBA's a non-reporting entity.
I haven't been getting as many parking tickets lately.
What does that mean? A non-reporting
that's
entity.
a great thing. So some of how SIMBA is funded and how we do some of this work is from some state contracts. One of them is with L&I.
Okay.
People think about L&I getting them in trouble. And L&I does everything. It manages your employees and handles wage and hour things. It handles workers' compensation. It handles construction contractor licensing and electrician licensing and all kinds of things for every kind of business. We have a partnership with part of their small business office where people get to ask us questions about things that are wild. And I will tell a story, and I will not tell them. But I was at a restaurant in Eastern Washington, and they said, yeah, our kids are working here. And I said, oh, that's great. What are your kids doing? Like, oh, they're washing dishes, pouring coffee, getting some responsibility. Wonderful. How old are your kids? 10 and 12. You have to be at least 15 to work in a restaurant in the state of Washington, even if your mom and dad own it. But they were able to tell me that, and I was able to give them some resources about why this might be an awful idea, but tell them in a way where I don't have to automatically report them to L&I.
Gotcha.
So it's a safe space to ask questions that people don't know and tell them where to go and give them the tools to find the answers so they don't get in trouble.
Yeah. So like I haven't filed taxes in 5 years. I mean, I haven't done it, but like you can't report on it.
100% not. And that's, I think, part of what allows us to be this judgment-free safe space because, I mean, it's not like you're going to confession with a priest or something, but you tell us things and we're not, right? We're not going to tell other people.
Yeah.
And we're here to support you. And if we tell a story that's kind of funny like that, it's really vague. I'm not going to say, and here's the business, and there they are, and don't let the 10-year-old pour your coffee.
Right.
Yeah.
I want to shift to like other offerings you have.
Yeah.
You mentioned that like I can hire you to like just file my taxes, or you can be my mailing address, and you can get all my mail, and you can do all that like that heavy lifting for like all that government paperwork I get.
Let me clarify. I will not file your taxes.
Okay, sorry.
I will help you file your state B&O taxes.
Okay.
We will not touch your federal taxes, but we will prep you for your federal taxes, help you with tracking, help you with bookkeeping, but we are not CPAs and we have professional liability insurance and it only goes so far. But state taxes, we will 100% help you with and sit down and do them. But for a small fee, one of the things we're offering now is registered agent services. So if you're an LLC, a corporation, a partnership, any formal structure, you have to have a registered agent. If you're working at home, it might be you and your home address. Maybe you don't want people to find you.
Right.
Right. And maybe you're using like an office and fellow as a co-working space, but you don't want to have to use your personal address for anything, right? You're just using meeting spaces. You're meeting people in coffee shops. You're working remotely. So we are able to be your address. We're able to get your mail to make sure you get all of your filings done at very low cost. It's $50 for the year. If you're not a member, it's free, or $25 if you are a member, depending on your level. I think the next closest price in the region is about $150. So we'll get your mail. We are looking on offering mailing services for people who aren't LLC. So if you're a sole proprietor, so that way your business license doesn't have to have your home address on it.
Oh, nice.
And so a way to give you something to take some of that regulatory piece off of you, get everything in a safe space, and let us also sort through the junk mail. Because people pull the lists from the Secretary of State and the Department of Revenue and send you fraud and scam materials all the time.
They get that all like, hey, send me $35 for something. And I'm like, but I imagine there's people that aren't savvy enough that would be like, I got to pay this.
100%.
Because it looks official.
Yeah, if it's from the Department of Florida, like, do not. No.
Right. The Washington State Department of Revenue doesn't have a Miami location. But we get questions from very sophisticated business owners. We don't just work with startups who are like, hey, I got this thing, and my gut tells me it's spam, but I don't know. And we know.
Yeah.
Or we know how to find out. And so we can keep you from dealing with any of that heartache.
Nice. Tell me, like you went to Ephrata yesterday to do and they're not, you don't have any businesses that are in Ephrata currently that are part of SIMBA, but you were there to do what were you doing?
Great question.
Yeah.
So I guess that's part of some of the misconception or confusion about SIMBA. So we provide services under certain grants and contracts to anybody.
Okay.
That fit the requirements of that grant or contract. So for us, it's usually anyone in 13 or so Eastern Washington counties who owns a business with 50 or fewer employees that's independent and local. And so those are usually free. So we were there doing a contract from the Washington State Micro Enterprise Association, the WSMA.
Okay.
And they fund organizations like SIMBA to do outreach, particularly in rural communities, to help people because there's not a lot of resources there. There's only a handful of orgs in Spokane who do this work, and there's just, I think, none in Grant County.
Okay.
And so we were able to offer something we call the SIMBA School of Business. And it's kind of a baseline get you ready. So we did an extra credit session. And we taught about licensing and compliance. Alexis taught about social media, business taxes, and then goal setting and business planning.
That's awesome.
and able to offer that. And most of those are recorded. And so Vexing Media is a SIMBA member who will be a future guest on the pod.
Nice.
They are videographers and do really great production. And they record them to put them on our YouTube channel. So we have on-demand free videos for business owners to watch when they're ready.
Also, like I could just go on YouTube and like if I want to get training wheels to like start a business, I could watch a video from you.
That's correct.
Awesome. That Vexing Media produced.
That's right.
That's awesome.
Shout out Vexing Media.
But members,
Okay, yeah.
members are folks like you who pay SIMBA a little money and get some additional services. So you get exclusive invites to our events. That's where you get a lot of the networking in. We are working on hosting a SIMBA market. We're finalizing the dates on that so we can have a local market that's just SIMBA members and then open it up to other people. We're hoping to do that at Barn and Blossom, which is a really cool space on the Police Highway.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
We do a great holiday party. We also do advertising on behalf of your organization. So you're on our website that gets about 10,000 independent hits a month. On our social media, Alexis really downplays the work she's done on our social media. She's our Canva queen. And so last year across our social media channels, we have SIMBA and Live Local.
Okay.
And Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn for those. We had 172,000 unique impressions across those platforms last year.
That's great. That's
We
awesome.
are a nonprofit in Spokane.
Yeah, that's really cool. What Live Local? That was started during COVID as a way to like help people find businesses, and so like what that's still active, and it's still what is Live Local doing now?
Live Local INW. It's an online marketplace and directory where people can find local businesses in Eastern Washington.
Yeah.
And then also local businesses can sign up, list their business for free. You can list products, events, your location. And then you can also kind of categorize your business. So obviously by category, but you can also dive into your like what neighborhood, what area you are, business demographics. So if it's a woman-owned, BIPOC-owned, sustainable, if it's a nonprofit, anything like that. So when people are on there, so let's say you're just wanting to find a women-owned coffee shop in Garland District, you can kind of narrow it down on Live
Oh,
Local.
nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, and we just added events recently back in the fall.
Yes.
Sometime. And so, yeah, you can post your events on there. And then we have like a ton of promotion on our, like we have Facebook and Instagram. So we try and just showcase just shopping and supporting local and just kind of, and this is where we kind of target more to like the consumers also of just like telling people like, hey, when you shop local, it's keeping money like 90% of your dollars is staying in your community. So when you shop local and when you're choosing a local person over Amazon or Target. And so just kind of encouraging and educating people on that. And then also just showcasing some cool local businesses and making sure that they're getting shout out and everything.
What is that percentage of I heard this percentage before. Maybe you mentioned it in a meeting we had, but it was it was if you shop local, 90% of your money stays locally. But if you shop at Amazon, what's the percentage of it staying locally?
10 to 15%.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And a lot of it has to do with tax structures and things like that. Washington State businesses at least file and sometimes pay business taxes. So Amazon at least pays taxes in the state of Washington, maybe not federally. But a lot of it's tax dollars, but a lot of that goes to where the business is located. And so there's a chunk of that money that goes to the state of Washington generally. And then a chunk of it stays here. So it supports your roads, your schools, your streetlights, your 3-on-3 basketball tournament, your largest 12K road race in the world. All these things that you care about your community. It's also giving money to your neighbors and their kids and their friends and the folks who own the buildings and keeping the dollars where they should be.
Definitely.
And the beauty of Live Local, one of my favorite parts of it as well is there's 1,100 businesses on there right now.
Wow.
And something that people don't really know is I'm not in web design or tech, but however the back end of it has been designed with the SEO, if you're a business that's on Live Local, you are the first or second hit on a Google search is the Live Local. So if you don't have your own website and someone searches for Mountaintop Mentality, who's another SIMBA member who will be on in the future, the first or second hit every time is the Live Local website. So if you don't have your own website or if you just have a Facebook page or no presence, it's giving you a presence literally for free.
Wow. That's cool. That's great. Because if I didn't have a website, or like if you're a new business and you just need to point someone to a place that they can find you, you could definitely just use that listing. That's cool.
Yeah, and you can link all of your social media. You can link products, so you can direct them like to email you, contact you, or direct them back to your website. You can also like offer special deals. So if you want to, hey, you guys get 10% if you found me on Live Local, you get 10% off. Stuff like that. So yeah, it's just a great way for people to just go like, hey, I want to go support local. I'm going to go and try and find some local businesses. And it's not just like restaurants, cafes. It's like accountants, design, graphic designers, construction. It's everyone on there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I got to shout out TS the Solution.
Yes.
He I know he said that whenever he needs to find an event, he goes to Live Local to find that. And like that, I will say, like, as someone who is looking for an events calendar that is curated and is like easy to navigate, your calendar is amazing, because like you go to certain calendars in Spokane, some publications, they are a mess to sort through. And it's awesome that, like he was saying, like that's where I go to find out where events are happening.
We've got to shout out. We've got to shout out CodeSpeed, who designed our website, so it's incredibly user-friendly. And we did get money from the Avista Foundation, thank you very much, for our events calendar. And so it's great because we have such a mix of things on there. And it's not just a Google calendar that a lot of events calendars look like.
Yeah.
You can sell tickets to your event on there. You can post photos of your event. You can link back to your website. You can search by date. You can refine by business. So it really allows you to look in a way that's meaningful.
Yeah, that's
cool.
And
it's all free. It's free to sign up. All you have to do is just be independently owned, local, and you have to receive our newsletters once a month. That's right.
Easy. Well, let's talk about the podcast. When this idea was presented to you to start a podcast, like what was your first reaction?
Well, I think you came to me about it when we met, about your transition of your own business.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And you said, we talked about it in the past, and we didn't think it was something that was possible for us to do, but we also know that there's different ways people find businesses, and people are always listening to something. Mm-hmm. I personally listen to a lot of podcasts. We talked about it offline. I do listen to The Steam Room with Charles Barkley and Ernie Johnson, who we were talking about in the car yesterday on the way back from Ephrata, because Timothy Chalamet met Ernie Johnson.
Oh, that's what, okay.
And said he was going to pay
this
him
is a Timothy Chalamet podcast.
in the biopic. But I think a lot of what I listen to is kind of national things, right? I'll listen to a lighthearted sports thing and then an incredibly depressing news podcast. So having something uplifting and having another way to give our members a benefit, to tell them who they are, tell them why SIMBA matters, to advertise their goods and services, and to really talk about the cool things people in the community are doing. And something I love about our members is we just have the widest variety of people doing different things. We've got people who make jewelry. We've got Indaba Coffee, folks doing clothing, folks doing
other nonprofits,
folks doing cupcakes, people doing podcasts, photographers, videographers, a really wide selection of people from different backgrounds, different spaces, doing really cool things that I think a lot of people don't always know exist in our town, our region.
That's awesome. I mean,
I was excited when I heard it was Spokast because I am not like a big podcast listener, but I know that the only Spokane podcast I can think of is you. And I'm not trying to like suck up or anything, but I was just because I know a lot of my friends and I know a lot of local artists. I've always interviewed them and everything. And so I've always just known Spokast, and I was really excited. I was like, oh, that's so cool. Like,
well, I appreciate you all jumping on board, just because it is. I think podcasting is a great marketing tool. I mean, when we think of podcasts, we think of long form conversations, but like it's more than that. It's clips. It's like just getting the micro content from that too. Cause like not everyone's ingesting an hour-long 45-minute podcast, but they might watch a 15-second, 30-second clip just to learn a little bit about a local business or person, to like just to understand what's going on. And I feel like your community is very passionate about Spokane and the businesses here, and I love to shop local. I probably still shop too much at our national brands, but I still think like having this conversation and being able to spotlight who's out there like will really help get the word out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
What do you want to accomplish with it?
Oh,
I think just like introduce all these cool businesses that we work with to new your listeners and your audience. Because I know I've met a lot of new business owners, and I've become more connected, and just getting to know the business owner and who they are, it just makes me more resonate with their business and their brand. Yeah. And I think just learning behind the scenes of like who they are as a person and why they created that business, and just learning more about them. And then, just spreading the word of some cool people who are doing cool things in Spokane. Because I think people forget how cool Spokane is and how awesome everyone is here, and like everyone's doing such cool things, and just showcasing that we are cool and we don't suck. Spokane doesn't suck.
I love
trademark. I think that's trademark.
Oh, sorry.
Is it trademark? I don't think it is. I don't think
it might be. I don't know. We don't own it, but we love it.
I should have started with this, but you both sound like you were raised here. Like, is that or no, do we not want to go there?
No,
you've been here for
I've been here for more than half of my life, possibly longer than Alexis has been alive. We've got it real filtered on the face here. But I've been here since high school.
Okay.
And I'm just barely past high school age. So I've been here.
She just moved here.
That's right.
That's right. Wow.
New in town.
She's so passionate.
Spokane, you.
I'm actually, I was born and raised here.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, my dad's from here. I was born and raised in Liberty Lake. So people sometimes are like, "Are you even from Spokane?" I identify as a Spokane person.
We accept you.
Thank you. But yeah, no, I was always like, as a kid, I was always sneaking away on the bus and taking the bus downtown, because I always just wanted to hang out downtown and like go to Auntie's and go to the community building and go to all that fun stuff. But yeah, no, born and raised. I have no plan of leaving. I just love it here, because I go and I travel and I go other places, and I'm just like, that's cool. It's cool. It's nice. But I like Spokane because it's small, but it's not small. It's also a little big, and there's just so like you kind of have that downtown feel, but you can also go out into nature if you choose to go out into nature. You can go out into nature. You can go hiking. You can go water. There's lakes everywhere, so you kind of have that like downtown feel, and then that awesome nature feel to it. So, and I just think Spokane. I think when you meet, you're in the right crowd and around the right people, and there's people doing a lot of cool things, and I have no desire to go to anywhere else. I'm definitely here and I want to be part of like how much I think Spokane has been changing and growing, and I want to be a part of that. So I'm sticking around.
I love that. Yeah.
But I do love this region. My partner works at Gonzaga. He's a professor there, so we're not going anywhere.
Right, yeah.
Like literally just moved into a new house this weekend, so we're not going anywhere.
Oh, nice.
And I've always been, long before I worked at SIMBA, like a shop and support local person. Especially in Spokane, one of the things I love about Spokane is our restaurant community. Yeah. We have so many cool independent and local restaurants and a really good food scene. I think people are surprised when I tell them that, who aren't from here, like my West Side friends. Like, what do you mean?
I mean, I think people are surprised when you say that, and they are from here. I mean, I've had conversations with people when I'm like, they're like, oh, we're going to go down, where we're going to go. We're going to go to Outback Steakhouse, or we're going to go to the Onion.
The Olive Garden.
Sorry, not the Onion. Onion's the bad.
Onion's local.
Olive Garden. That was where I was going with, not the Onion. But like, I'm just like, no, go. Like, my wife works at a corporate business in downtown Spokane. Her boss, like they had a team come from out of town, and they were like, we want to take them out to dinner. The point of the story is, she said they should go to Wooden City. Her boss said, oh, I don't like, there's not, or said to this team, like, there's not many places to go around downtown. There's so much around downtown to go eat. There's so much different types of food that you can go enjoy. And you're living in Spokane, and you're telling people that there's nothing downtown. You do not know. Like, and that's that's where my passion is with like Spokane. I'm just like, people who don't know. I want to teach them about like all the great places to go eat, because there's so many great places. Stop going to Applebee's.
Yeah.
Stop shopping at Target. Like,
we're not eating good in the neighborhood.
Like,
go find local places. If you want to buy a book, go down to Auntie's.
Yes.
Like, there's so many places to go, and like in this, they're not all they're probably not all SIMBA members, but like we still need to support
100%
local, and like as much as we can, and that's what I'm passionate about, and that's what I think is going to come through on this podcast. We're going to meet a ton of people who are just so passionate about this city. We're probably going to have to do like an update episode later after a handful of episodes just to kind of see where Simba's at in 6 months or so. But I mean, I've learned so much in just this hour-long conversation. I feel like, what is the best way if somebody wants to right now get involved with SIMBA? What do they need to do? Is it just an email? Is it just getting on the website, filling out a form? Like, where should people go?
Yes, and
www.spokaneindependent.org.
Okay.
You can sign up for our newsletter and just get that and get a feel from us. You can follow us on social media. I think we're most active on Instagram. 2 Instagrams for Live Local INW and Spokane Independent.
Nice.
You can fill out a form if you want business help right now, and we can assist you with that. You can become a member. You can send us an email. The info@spokaneindependent.org is probably the best way to get a hold of us. You can even text us. Our main line is a cell phone, so you can text us. We love a text. So any way you want to reach out, I will say I care a lot about my staff having work-life balance and myself pretending to have work-life balance. And so we will get back to you during the business hours between 8 and 6. Doesn't mean we won't meet you out of business hours. Doesn't mean we aren't going to be out in the community on the weekends because we're always out doing things. We'll be out at Pride, for example. SIMBA sponsoring Pride.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
So definitely come say hi to us. We have 1 million stickers, but and candy. We always have candy. But we're always available however you want to find us. Come to an event.
Yeah.
Definitely. I was going to throw something in there, just memberships. I know that when I signed up to be a member a year or so ago, like it was just like, it was kind of like pay as much as you can or as much as you want or all those things. Like, so what is like the tier system like?
We will take as much money as you'd like to give us. So starting tier for a regular for-profit business, because we have a nonprofit membership as well, starts at $13 a month or $150 a year, which is pretty inexpensive. And you get a lot for that, including promotions on our website, shout outs in our newsletter, social media posts, one-on-one business consultations with staff. You get access to business planning support. So if you need to do a business plan to apply for a loan or grant, you'll get a professional business plan. Those cost thousands of dollars if you do it yourself or hire someone. Invites to events. The next level is $500 a year up to $999. So that's $42 a month or a minimum of $500 a year. You get more exposure. We put you on Live Local. You get to come on this podcast. We'll make a reel about your business that we share with you and your business. So you have some more content to share, especially if you're just starting out. Registered agent services are free. Mailing services are free. Highest level sponsoring level starting at $1,000 a year and then to whatever level you would like to be. You get all of those things. Plus your logo is on basically all of our marketing materials. We shout you out in very formal ways. We do big blasts about you in our newsletter. We really promote you as if you are a partner of ours. So we look at it as more of a partnership.
Yeah.
There are student business memberships. So if you're an active college student, it's half price.
Oh, nice.
Starting at $650 a month. And these are all tax write-offs. Business association memberships are tax write-offs for your business.
Oh, nice.
So it's a way to save money on the taxes you're paying federally. And then we have a nonprofit membership that starts at $75 a year if you're a starting nonprofit or you want some support, because we also do a lot of support with existing nonprofits on compliance work and grant writing and those kinds of things.
Yeah.
We also have an individual membership too. So if you're not a small business and you just are like what we do,
you just want to support
us. Yeah.
This is how you kind of, I mean, you get some funding, but this is kind of the backbone of making SIMBA run.
And I will say we make sure that 80 to 90% of every member dollar goes into member services. So whether that's doing our social media, hosting events, we had a really great holiday party with a lot of wine last time, and really great locally catered food from Nectar.
Awesome.
We always have good food at our events from a local space. So we love getting feast when we can, talk about great catered food.
Yeah.
And so trying to get support of local things. We did a great one at the Meeting House, who was a SIMBA member, where they made custom cocktails for us.
Is that the place on Monroe? Is it?
So there was one on.
One used to be kind of more downtown.
Yeah.
Now there's one in Perry.
And it's outside and there's space. We'll try to host another event there.
Oh, cool.
Some of those other things, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, this is going to be a great way for people to connect with you, SIMBA, learn more about what's going on, and stay connected. Go get on the newsletter. And I will say, if you email if you email Robin or
Yes.
Alexis, like they'll email you back, and you're so good at communicating. I'm awful at emailing back. I can't imagine how many emails you get, and then you are always like right on it to respond. I always take like a couple days to respond, and you're a good example of needing to get better at that. So I appreciate like how well you and the ease of communication has been with all of you. So,
I hope so, yeah. Like a communications person. I hope it's good.
I will
put that on
say,
Robin.
we did decide that if you're a podcast listener and you've made it this far, we're going to offer you a discount code for your first year of SIMBA membership.
oh wow.
So if you apply at an annual rate at any level and use the code POD15, you get 15% off.
That's awesome. Well, go sign up. If you haven't signed up for being a SIMBA member, go do it today. And until next time, we'll be back with some guests that are SIMBA members. Can we tease anything?
We were thinking of, we have some people that we were thinking of, like, of course, like mountaintop mentality. So David and Helmer.
Yeah.
I know you've had Helmer and Noel on the pod before. And then we were also thinking of New Beginnings. Carrie, she's amazing.
Vexing
Vexing
Media.
Media.
Oh,
Doing
yeah.
videography. Legit Creative, who does
Ooh.
incredible creative
Joshua Thomas.
work.
Yeah.
Maker and Made. Speaking of creatives,
Oh.
we have some super cool members.
Friends of the podcast.
That's
Yes, Millie and Britt.
Yeah.
Millie Britt. Coil Studio, which is an aerial studio.
Oh, right next door to them,
Yes,
right? Yeah.
absolutely. They are now a sustaining member, so we'll have them on the pod.
Awesome. We got a great lineup of guests. So that's going to be exciting. And well, I don't know. I feel like I haven't done this in freaking years, apparently. But thank you for listening. It has been an amazing time talking to Alexis and Robin. I'm Brennan, Pointer of Spokast. Until next time, peace.